Wednesday, June 20th, and it has been hot as all get out here in Cincinnati. Father's Day was on Sunday, and it was about 95 to 98 degrees. I did not want to do anything outside except drink beer and swim in the pool. However, I did manage to get everything mowed down and ready for Father's Day, so it was looking decent. And so coming on Wednesday, I managed to get another mow in between Tuesday and Monday. I had to do half and half because I got rained out one day and had to go back the next day and finish up the rest. So it was looking okay. I'm starting to run into a little bit of heat stress because it hadn't rained so much in the past week. We did get a good rain last night, kind of helped, and it's supposed to be raining for the next few days. So I've got a few things that showed up over the past couple days, and let's take a look. Alright, so the first thing that I got from Do My Own to fight my crabgrass problem that I got along my driveway is I got a little bottle of Quinclorac. While this does treat quite a few other things, dandelions, clover, whatnot, I got this specifically to treat the crabgrass that is coming up. So I'm going to try this, and that should knock everything out. Doesn't take a whole lot. I think it's like an ounce and a half. I take that back. Actually, it's like 0.48 ounce or something per gallon. I gotta go back over the directions, but it wasn't a whole lot. I think I'd take it back. It was like an ounce and a half per 1,000 square feet. So I'll put that in a gallon, and that should get it all the spots that I need to treat along the driveway. A couple other random spots around the yard where it did happen to come up. The other thing I managed to get is just a little box of Prosedge. As you can tell probably by the name, this is to kill nutsedge. I have a little bit in the backyard for some reason. It's been coming around for the past couple years. So I want to finally kill that off, because just spraying it with regular spray herbicides just haven't been doing a whole lot for me. The weed be gone, stuff like that. Some of it says that it kills it, but it might just kill the blaze, but it does not kill the little, I guess you call them nutlets that are underneath the ground. I guess how it gets its name is nutsedge, is the little nutlet seeds that are underneath. This is supposed to kill everything down to those nutlets, so bye-bye nutsedge. So we'll see how that goes. I'm planning on mixing these two and hit everything at once. So hopefully I can have kind of like a 1-2 punch and knock everything out in my yard. So per my last video, I said I did have a surprise coming, and it finally showed up today. And so I can't be Lawn Stripe's channel if I don't have a lawn striper for my push mower. So I got the Big League Lawns Checkmate Striper for my Toro. I went to pull this box up. It was sitting on the dining room table. This thing was heavy. It was probably a good, I'd say this thing's like 15-20 pounds. But it was well packaged. There's a nice instruction manual. Looks like all the hardware is there. Big old heavy striper. Ugh. I mean, listen to this thing. And that is heavy. So then I got my instructions. Nice color instructions, even a picture of a Toro on there. These instructions are specifically for the Toro recycler, so no generic universal instructions. Doing some guesswork as to what you need to do per your application. So it looks awesome. One thing I was worried about is a lot of these guys that were getting them for their riding mower or whatever, they were having to drill holes in the frame of their mower to get these to work. And as I started looking through this, so it says you remove the wheel, go through there, you got the little flap there in the back that actually kind of stripes the lawn, pushes the lawn down. So it's going through, you actually remove that, and there's a bolt there, and look there, there is a hole where the little flap was, a little rubber mat. You actually remove that and you have a hole right for the Checkmate striper. So it is direct bolt-on. I like bolt-ons, be it my mower or my car. Put everything back on and it's good to go. So I'm going to get that installed today, and even though I don't really need to mow, I think I might hit the backyard and see if we can do some stripes. I am good to go. I have the necessary equipment to get this going. It calls for a Phillips screwdriver, a 3/4 inch socket, a 9/16 socket, and a 1/2 inch. There we go, good to go. I'm propped up, seems fairly sturdy. So let's get this going. So I need to start off by taking off the back wheels. And then from there I should be able to take off the flap and get this thing installed. Alright, I have got the back wheels off on each side. And one thing I came across, because this one actually, the cover popped off on me. I'm like, oh god, how's this go back together? So I've still got the bolt going through the center. It threads into right here on your Toro. And you have this little cup, or a hole cut out here. Inside you can actually see the gear. That just mounts up to the gear. So this is just a cover for your gear. So when you go back over, make sure this goes over your gear, and then this is actually going back into your hole here. Alright, so the next step is to remove the skirt, your rubber mat here. There's a Phillips screwdriver or a Phillips screw right here. We remove that on both sides. So, get the other side. Screws out. That just pushes down, it's rubber so it bends. And that is out. So now our skirt is out. Now we need to get some mounting arms together and get that pushed into this hole here. So this is actually where your checkmate striper is going to mount into. Alright, so I've got my hardware here. We have 2 of these. It's already pre-assembled. So what we need to do is take off this lock nut. And now we can just pop this in. And we'll partially thread this in, so we won't tighten it real tight. So it's on there finger tight. I can't get any tighter than that. We'll do the same thing to the other side. Tight. So now we need to use a 9/16 and an Allen. We'll tighten down these arms a little bit more, but we don't want it to go completely tight. That way we can actually get the striper mounted up to it and kind of move it around as we need. So I'm going to get my Allen key and we'll get this thing tightened down a little bit more. Alright, now the brackets are installed. They're just a hair loose to where I can flip them around a little bit. So now it's time to get the striper itself. Start off by loosening these up. Lock washer and the bolt on both sides. Line it up, get it threaded in. tricky. Alright, so that is on there. So now that is mostly together. It says finger tighten them, so they are finger tight. So now we're ready to reattach the wheels. Go back to the 1/2 inch socket. Get this back over on the gear, like so. Alright, wheels are back on. I'm looking it over. It says to adjust it out. Kind of eyeballing it in the back. I mean, I couldn't really move it left or right either way. So I think these brackets are made specifically for the Toro, so it's pretty well on point. I don't see it being left or right either way, so I'm going to go with that. So I'm just going to bolt down the these 3/4 inch bolts. They're going to the bracket, and let's see if we can get some stripes going. Alright, so one thing I did notice with this striper, and I had a feeling, is this model is a stowaway. So it means I can take this thing and kind of sit it straight up. That's why I got the brackets here with the feet on it. So I can set it vertical to save a little bit of space in my shed. However, it looks like I may have just made it a non-stowaway. So it hits the striper. It's up about almost straight up, but not enough to where it will stand up on its own. And there it goes. So luckily I cleared out enough stuff, sold an old lawnmower. I may not actually need to stow away after all, so I'm okay with that. But if you absolutely have to save space, keep that in mind. Alright, I've got the mower in the backyard. I actually mowed this way on Monday, so I'm going to try to go this way so I can see exactly what the stripes look like. So let's see what we can do. actually quite impressive. Those are very well defined. I don't see any tire marks going through there. It rolls those tire marks out. Gives some very well defined stripes. 10 out of 10 would buy again. And this is not sponsored by Checkmate or Big League Lawns or anyone. Bought this out of my own money because, like I said, I can't be the Lawn Stripes channel if I didn't have some nice lawn stripes. Until next video.